Alright, so here's the spark plug for cylinder number 1 after I've cleaned it and adjusted it and gapped it. So it turns out that it was gapped, or had moved from gap to 0.45 millimeter or inches, which is a big, and it wasn't straight. So when you gap these, you got to take your needle nose pliers and adjust it left and right, very, very soft, not to break it, and make sure that these are above each other. And that gap there is now where it's supposed to be, and it's adjusted left and right over top of the solenoid, or this, whatever you want to call it, that tit thing there. And I pulled it as far forward as I could. When I pulled it out, it was only half covering that little tit. So very gently I used my needle nose pliers to pull it forward, and then adjust the gap up and down and left and right. So this one's ready to go back in. Just need a drop of oil. Now ideally, there's a bunch of ways you could do it. If you have the right plug, there's a rubber grommet in the bottom which will hold this in place. Now let's see if that rubber grommet works. And I'm twisting it backwards till I can hear it click, till the threads fall into place, and then I'm going to thread it in. My hands are all greasy. And there, now we're snug. Now there is torque specifications for this. 1, I don't know them, they're upstairs in my book. And 2, I don't have a torque wrench. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hand snug it. And tighten it down with experience. Okay, so there it's snug. I'm going to just do this to get it a little bit more snug. Okay, and then I'm going to give it one little medium crank on it. There. So, there you go. Oh, there is some electrical goo I talked about when I was removing my headlight. For all your connectors, it goes the same for this one. There's special electrical goo you can put in there to protect the connection and make it better. I don't have any, otherwise I'd put it on. There we go. Cylinder number 1 is done. Now I'm going to do the other one. It's the same process for the other one. I don't know if I'll video it or not because it's the same process, but it depends. This other spark plug on this side is a bit more tricky. Tricky. And that's the one I'm going to do now.